Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Amy from Rebel Nutrition, and if you clicked on this video, it's probably because you're thinking about starting a podcast, but you might be thinking, well, is it too late for me? Everybody in the world has a podcast now, and you've probably heard a lot of people saying that it's super time consuming and super difficult to set up, and it takes a lot of time to get accepted by all the different distribution platforms. So if that's you, stay tuned. You're gonna love this video because I'm gonna be sharing how to get your podcast up and running completely for free in a matter of days. Now, before I get into exactly how to do this, I wanted to remind you guys that I actually have a podcast, and I've been podcasting now for almost a year, and I will link to the Wealthy, Worthy, and Wild podcast in the show notes if you want to check it out. And I also just have to be totally transparent that at this point, I do have somebody who edits my podcast. Shout out to Elise, she's amazing. But when I started almost a year ago, I was doing everything myself. So the recording, the editing, I even made the podcast art myself. So this video is going to explain how to not only record and edit your podcast for free, but also how to host your podcast for free using Anchor, how to get accepted by all of the major podcasting distribution platforms in a really simple way, and how to create your own podcast artwork for free using Canva. Oh, and of course, I'm most excited about this one. I'm also going to tell you how you can actually start to monetize your podcast, even if you're just getting started. Also, you guys, before we get into all of that juicy info, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit the red subscribe button below so that you never miss a video. And now let's get into it. So first of all, let me just start off by saying that most of what I'm going to be sharing is really going to only apply to you if you're using a Mac. I'm sorry, if you're using a PC, I'm sure there's tons of other YouTube videos out there that will teach you how to do this. But the podcast hosting platform and all of the tools that are free that I'm going to be talking about are really specific to Apple users. So if that's you, then I'm really excited because you're going to be able to do this completely for free and really simply using your Mac or even using your iPad if you have one. Okay, so first off, let's talk about recording your podcast. You can really easily record your own podcast using GarageBand, which is an app on your Mac desktop or your laptop, whatever Apple product really that you're using. It's super simple to record, and also you don't need a fancy microphone when you're just getting started. Yes, eventually it will make the sound better, but I got started using just my headphones and talking into my laptop and recording in GarageBand. So it's really super simple. Again, it's free and you don't have to be a tech genius to figure out how to do it. Next is editing your podcast. So again, if you're getting started and you don't have the budget to outsource to an editor yet, you can also edit your own podcast in GarageBand. And you guys, it is so simple. If I can figure it out, I guarantee you anybody can figure it out. It's really simple to just cut out the mistakes and level out the sound so that it sounds really good. You can also even remove background noise, things like that. And if you want to, inside GarageBand, you can add like a little music at the beginning for your intro. You could also record a separate intro and outro that you add into every single episode. So it's really easy to use, and again, it's free, which is the best part, right? Okay, next up is hosting your podcast. And this was something that was really foreign to me and I was really confused about. So there are a lot of different hosting platforms, most of which require you to pay monthly to host your podcast on there. So some of them you may have heard of are things like Podbean or Libsyn, which I always want to call Lisbon. But there are a couple out there that a lot of people use. I'm sure they're great. But honestly, you guys, I've been hosting my podcast on Anchor, which is again a Mac specific podcast hosting platform. But it's totally free, and literally, you guys, it has done everything that I need it to do over the past year. And my favorite part about it, well, there's actually two things that I love about it. Number one, it will automatically distribute and get your podcast approved on the different listening platforms. So places like Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, things like that, which is really great because that was another thing that I was like, how the heck do I even do that? So Anchor will take care of that for you. And again, it's really simple and it's free. Now, the second thing that I really love about Anchor too is that it actually connects you with sponsors for your podcast. Now, this is not something that I have personally done just because I don't want to necessarily be recording ads for other sponsors quite yet. And the simple reason is that I want to record my own ads. So that was the next thing I was going to get into about how to monetize your podcast when you've started this entire podcast now for free. You're doing all the recording, the editing, the hosting, the distribution is all free. And then you're probably wondering, okay, well, if I'm just getting started out and brands don't necessarily want to work with me yet because my podcast isn't big enough, you can still monetize your podcast by simply recording your own ads. So that's personally what I do. And you guys, it's literally as simple as recording a minute or two of an ad spot that is sending people to whatever you're selling. So for me, I sell a lot of different online courses. So in each of my podcast episodes, I'll do a quick little ad spot talking about, whatever course I'm launching, what it's about, who it's for, and what you're going to learn, and of course, how to sign up. And I will link to whatever I'm promoting in the show notes. So that's a great way to start monetizing your podcast. But like I mentioned before too, Anchor will also connect you with sponsors, and you can look inside the app. It actually alerts you every time you kind of get connected to a new sponsor, and it'll tell you what the sponsor is, and then it's up to you to decide if you want to create an ad spot for that sponsor, or if you want to just record your own ads, or if you don't want to do ads at all. It's totally up to you. Now, last but not least, you can very easily and simply, for free, create your own podcast cover art and have it look really professional using Canva. So Canva is a free platform. Just go to canva.com, and maybe I will put up a screen share here to show you quickly how I made my own podcast cover art. And you guys, this is really great. I mean, obviously the gold standard is to outsource this to somebody who's a professional graphic designer, but when you're getting started, sometimes you don't have that option. So go to canva.com, and all you have to do is search for like podcast cover art templates, and a bunch of templates will come up. You can just choose the one that you like, put in your own brand colors, maybe add in a photo of you or whatever you want to be on the cover of your podcast. And then once you've created that art, it's super simple to just upload that cover art into Anchor as your podcast cover art. And then if you ever want to change it in the future, you literally just go into Anchor again and change it out. So it's super simple, it's free. And again, you guys, as always, I love to make business related topics super easy and digestible for you so that you can get started and you don't feel like you need to have a huge budget or you need to outsource all of this stuff to a professional, because I believe that you can do it. You can get started on your own. And then down the line, once you make progress, once you have all of these brands that want to work with you, then you'll have more of a budget to upgrade, get a new microphone, all of that good stuff. So again, you guys, if this video was helpful for you, please give it a thumbs up and hit the red subscribe button below. And I will also link to my Wealthy, Worthy, and Wild podcast in the description box below so that you can go check it out. Give it a listen if you're into podcasts. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.